if you don't believe in God, well, that's okay, but you have to believe in time. So the way the Vedas are presented is so like logical. You don't believe in God? Okay, well, time is also God. And time affects everyone. Time is coming to kill everybody. We just worship a very adorable, a very wonderful, a very charming version of time. Now, if you don't worship that version of time, that's okay. You can worship time according to the cruel taker away of all, of everything valuable to you, of your love, of your beauty, of your strength, of your wealth. You can worship God in that form as well. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Live from San Casciano in Italy, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily spiritual podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host, and what am I saying? See, I'm not even thinking anymore. I'm just saying this stuff. There is no co-host today. Mara's my co-host, and we might bring on some Meet the Pilgrims today, but we are live because Stuba's got the group in Assisi. A big handful of people stayed back here, and we got four of them here for live. Welcome to the show. And it is Wednesday, July 2nd, 2025. And we are heading up this really, really wonderful retreat. And I tell you, we have an interesting mixed bag of people with us because some people are like, have lived in ashrams, and some people are sort of like new to Bhakti. Some people have been around a while, regular listeners, and some people have lugged their entire family here who's not into Bhakti at all, but is super kid-friendly. Tons of kids running around, teenagers running around. And it's sort of just like a good vibe, a good environment. Mara, do we have a microphone for you? Hi, Mara. I dragged Mara through. You don't have a seat. Do you have any announcements, Miss Mara? Yeah, come on. She's a little grumpy today. She's a little grumpy. She wouldn't, you know why? Because at the last minute, I said change houses. I think we're going to have better.
It's like, where are we going to set up? And he's like, no, let's just do it here. This room is great. I was like, you sure? He's like, yeah, set everything up. And then at 3:58, he was like, you know what? Let's go over to that other villa through the hailstorm. So
it was a good experience.
It is better. It is a better connection here. I'll give you that.
Hi, Mary. How is, first of all, how are you doing? How's Italy doing?
I told you how I'm doing. Italy's wonderful. Italy's wonderful. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
It's great.
There you go.
Sage group sign up is happening now. So if you haven't joined your Sage group, sign up now at wisdomofthesages.com. And then click on Sage groups. And I think this weekend we're going to open up registration if you want to join a second Sage group, because a lot of people are joining 2 Sage groups. That's all I got.
That's pretty good. All right. Welcome. We got some Germans/Brazilians showing up. Got a nice little crew. We are reading from the I think we're just going to jump into the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam today, see how much we can cover. We're in the 10th canto, chapter 4, text 3. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before reciting the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated. And loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Agyana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Madatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. I just said this, but Canto 10, chapter 4, text 3. So we're here with Kamsa in the prison cell, just came running downstairs. The baby has been born. Well, we know that the baby got switched. Little baby Krishna has been switched. Vasudeva carried him across the river, switched it with Mother Yashoda on orders of Yogamaya, and brought the baby girl back. So now Mother Devaki is waking up, seeing the baby girl, who she could have sworn it was a boy. And now Kamsa is ready to come in here and kill this child. He's been freaking out. He's been incredibly Krishna conscious, but in a negative way. He's been thinking, this Krishna is going to kill me. This Krishna is going to kill me. Cannot stop thinking about Krishna. Even the thinking of Krishna in a negative way like that gave him the qualification to be liberated. It just did not give him bhakti. Bhakti means it has to be favorable towards the object of worship. So let's read this. Kamsa immediately got up from the bed thinking, here is Kala, the supreme time factor, which has taken birth to kill me. Thus overwhelmed, Kamsa, his hair scattered on his head, at once approached the place where the child had been born. So this is this concept of Krishna is Kala, or the time factor. In the Bhagavad Gita, it says, Kaloshmi lokshaya krit pravidho. Time I am, and I've come to destroy all people. And it's what the famous builder of the atom bomb said, Oppenheimer. But it's interesting because when we learn about who Krishna is, if you don't believe in God, well, that's okay, but you have to believe in time. So the way the Vedas are presented is so like logical. You don't believe in God? Okay, well, time is also God. And time affects everyone. Time is coming to kill everybody. We just worship a very adorable, a very wonderful, a very charming version of time. Now, if you don't worship that version of time, that's okay. You can worship time according to the cruel taker away of all, of everything valuable to you, of your love, of your beauty, of your strength, of your wealth. You can worship God in that form as well. So this is the problem with, where is I need to see people's faces, Mayor, not just these faces. It helps me talk if I see people, believe it or not. So this is the form Krishna comes into the materialist. He comes in the time factor. And Kamsa is representing pure materialism, you know. Of course, he's living in fear, because whenever there's materialism, there's fear, like I will lose everything. Because our value is no longer in the soul and the soul's relationship with God. The value is in my stuff. If you are valuing your stuff, for the most part, you should understand you got a little attachment to stuff. And when stuff gets taken away from us, we cry, we get bent out of shape. There's anxiety. The whole material world is called the land of anxiety. It's called Mrityaloka, the planet of death. Whereas the spiritual world is called Vaikuntha, the place where there's no anxiety. Why is there no anxiety? Because there's no death. What is death? Death is an illusion placed upon the soul, thinking I am flesh, thinking I am, skin and bones. For the body, you can't die. The body just changes clothes. In this illusion, I have fear. To the degree that I'm an illusion, I'll suffer tremendously. The whole yoga system is to wake up from illusion, this illusion that I'm the body. And even though I'm reciting this to you, even though I've heard crazy stories about reincarnation, even though I've seen people leave their body, even though I understand this philosophically, I still think I'm not going to die. Of course, I'll say, oh, yeah. I know I'll die someday. Have you ever said that? Yes. We all know we're going to die someday. Guess what? That someday could be in 5 minutes from now. We're even though we understand it philosophically, we don't really get it. And sometimes we've been in a situation where maybe a car accident, or maybe something where, when Mara had her seizure at Govardhan Hill, which now they're saying is not a seizure. They didn't know what it is. But whatever it was, I'm thinking, oh my God, Mara's going to die. I wasn't thinking, if people don't know this story, Mara got some type of seizure while we were at Govardhan Hill. or not a seizure. Something happened to Mara, or she was dancing. I can't tell what it was. Possessed, dancing in high spiritual consciousness. I can't tell what it was. But what immediately, first of all, I wasn't thinking. If I always think in my mind, well, I'll probably die before Mara. I should tell her what to say to me when I'm dying to try to death coach me out of this body. My death doula. But then I wouldn't think she was going to die before me, and here she is. What was going through my mind? I was chanting. I was chanting. I was playing the Shringa Kavacha, these prayers to Lord and Shringa Dev. But I was also running through my mind was, what do I do with the body in India? Do I have to like burn it like immediately? Like you were already dead a little bit in my mind. But if I'm being frank, these were what was going through my mind. So this is, unless I'm really pure, right? And the Bhagavad Gita describes this it sounds sort of heartless. The Bhagavad Gita says, for the wise, there's no lamentation, right? The wise doesn't lament for the living nor the dead. Doesn't that sound heartless? It's not heartless. It's actually in full consciousness. We don't lament for the living or the dead. Why? Because ultimately, everybody dies, and the eternal soul is always living. And we're just an illusion. And the sad thing is, I want to stay an illusion. That's the crazy thing. I'm catching myself and looking at my kids and saying to myself, I'm going to miss you when I die, or are you going to miss me when I die? I'm really, something about being, a year from 60. I'm thinking more about death than ever before. I don't know if any of you guys none of you guys are that old. But how old are you? 51. You're sort of old. I remember when my dad was 50. I was like, you're so old, Dad. But now it's like I'm 59. I'm preparing for 60. Like it's only less than 6 months away, I think. But the point is, it's like I'm thinking about death on a regular basis. And instead of being like, there is no death for the soul. I've read these books. I've chanted my rounds. But the fact is, I'm still holding on to some idea of like, what are my kids going to do without me? They need me. Guess what, Raghunath? Nobody needs you. The world will go on. They'll go, oh my God, did you hear? Raghunath died. And then we'll be like, what's for lunch? That's what's going to happen. It's going to be that quick. Maybe there'll be a big Instagram post. Oh, Raghunath, loved it. I love that first band. Oh, thanks for that record. That's about it. And then it'll be forgotten. And then life will go on. It would be nice if the entire world took a break for a month. It's just not going to happen. So this is
A month? It's just sort of.
How about a moment of silence? How about
nice? I agree.
Every morning. See, that's the thing. In my ego and in my idea of self, I can't even think of my unbeing. But it happens like that. And then, like the last few nights, I usually remember my dreams, but the last few nights, I've remembered something significant happened. But like, what was it? What was it? That's what this whole world is going to seem like when I wake up and embrace Krishna, if I make it there. Not even if I make it, even if I make it to my next life, when I get born as a chimpanzee or a young girl in Italy, whatever I get born into in my next life, I'm going to be thinking like, what just happened? Where did I come from? And it will all the significance of this life will barely even be remembered after the trauma of death and birth again. Isn't that hard to believe? We always say the world is like a dream. Imagine if that's actually true, that everything I was so attached to, not just my stuff, but my family, my children, my position in this world, how heartbreaking that it's just dreamlike. This is the nature of the material world. By the way, that doesn't mean we're not allowed to grieve if someone dies or if we get our feelings hurt. That's natural. That's part of being embodied. All these things. Doesn't mean I shouldn't be responsible for my kids. And like, don't you understand, little boy? You are just a dream. No, of course I'll feel we have responsibilities within the dream. And the interesting thing enough, this Dharma that we have within the dream assists us to be liberated from the dream. I'm going to say that again. The Dharma that we have within this dream like being responsible as a parent, as a spouse, as a person within this world. It brings us to a place to assist us to become liberated from the dream. That's why there's all this recommendations of dharma, of ethics, of morality, of sattva guna. Why? It assists. It doesn't completely liberate you. Being just dharmic doesn't liberate you from the dream, but it assists us. So we get on one of these fast tracks. Bhakti is like a fast track to spiritual liberation. It assists us to get there. If I'm acting radically irresponsible with my money, with my relationships, with my sexuality, with my marriage or my relationship with my children, if I'm acting radically irresponsible, that does not assist you. That hinders you from finding deep spiritual connection. So morality isn't the end all, but morality or ethics or values, they're meant to bring us to a place where our mantra meditation is very, very powerful and potent because it settles our mind. Okay, I'm going to go on with that. Text 4. Can you wipe those glasses, please? Devaki helplessly, piteously appealed to Kamsa. My dear brother, all good fortune unto you. Don't kill this little girl. She will be your daughter-in-law. Indeed, it is unworthy of you to kill a woman. My dear brother, this is text 5. My dear brother, by the influence of destiny. So he's very clever. She's not blaming him. She's saying, by the influence of destiny, you've already killed so many of my babies, each one of them as bright and beautiful as fire. But kindly spare this daughter. Give her to me as your gift. He's encouraging her just to be gracious, right? My Lord, my brother, I'm very poor, being bereft of all my children, but I am still your younger sister. Therefore, it would be worthy of you to give me this last child as a gift. Sukadeva Goswami continued, piteously embracing her daughter and crying. Devaki begged Kamsa for the child, but he was so cruel that he chastised her and forcibly snatched the child from her hands. Having uprooted all the relationships with his sister because of intense selfishness, Kamsa, who was sitting on his knees, grasped the newborn child by the legs and tried to dash her against the surface of the stone. That's a pretty gory sight. It's gruesome. The child, Yoga Maya Devi, the younger sister of Lord Vishnu, slipped upwards. How does something slip upwards? He went to throw the baby down, but the baby slipped up and went in the sky. Slipped upward from Kamsa's hands and appeared in the sky as Devi, the goddess Durga, with 8 arms and completely equipped with weapons. The goddess Durga was decorated with flower garlands, smeared with sandalwood pulp, and dressed with excellent garments and ornaments made of valuable jewels. Holding in her hands a bow, a trident, arrows, a shield, a sword, a conch shell, a disc, and a club, and being praised by celestial beings like the Apsaras, Kanaras, Uragas, Siddhas, Charanas, and Gandharvas, who worshipped her with all kinds of presentations, she spoke as follows. So this Deva, there's many different forms of the mother, and this Durga is a very ferocious one. And of course, the worship of the mother in India grants all types of benedictions, different types of mystic powers. The 9 days of Durga worship, Navaratri is a huge festival all over India, and you worship a different facet of the mother. Now, this facet is very, very powerful and appears with various weapons. One weapon she carries is, and of course, we can also just extend this feminine divinity to Mother Nature. And so this Mother Nature carries this trident, and the trident represents the 3 ways that she punishes the embodied being. Once you get a body, once you say, I want to be born in this world and get a body, we are subject to that trident. And the first prong of that trident is pain caused by my own body. Does anybody have any pain in their body today? Yeah, Anna says yes. What's your name? Oh, you're Starry. Where are you from, Starry? You're from Dallas. Okay. You got pain in your body? Don't blame me. Blame Durga. Blame yourself. You signed up for this body. So once we get a body, we get pain caused from our own body. Sometimes it's chronic pain. Sometimes it's I got a bee sting. But whatever it is, once you get a body, if you don't have pain today, guess what? It's coming around the bend because that's what happens. That's one of the prongs of the pitchfork or the trident of Durga. The other one is pain caused by other bodies. Has anybody got their heart broken before? Raise your hand. Oh, everybody. Okay, good. Has anybody been punched? You've been punched? Oh. You've been stabbed. Okay. That from another being? Not by yourself. Okay, if another being stabbed you, thanks. We got to interview Anna, I think. She's got stories to tell. But that's a fact. So whether it's let's see, a hornet's nest. I stepped in a hornet's nest. Whether you get stabbed, whether you get any living being causing you pain, that is another type of klesh or pain once you get embodied. So it's your own body causing you pain or another atma causing you pain. And the third one is what? The devas. The devas cause you pain. So imagine we were walking from this house to the other house, and it was windy, and within that wind, a hail hit me right in the skull. That happens to people all the time, I think. But if the day, or sometimes it just gets too cold, people freeze to death. It's too hot. A moment ago, it was too hot, and then now there's hail coming down. So this is the devas or higher beings, or you could call it the weather if you don't believe in higher beings. But either way, this is understood. The way it's explained in Vedic teachings is so nice that all these things are going to screw with you once you get a body. And no one gets, doesn't matter what religion you are or if you have no religion. But the interesting thing was, because Durga is a servant of Lord Vishnu, of Lord Krishna, right? The devotee becomes protected. So let me ask you guys a question in the live group. How can you be protected by these threefold miseries? Just because you're surrendered to Vishnu, it means you're not going to get stabbed. Just because you're surrendered to Krishna, Lord Krishna, means you're not going to freeze to death. You don't experience cold or heat anymore. Anybody have an answer for this? Madhuri Gopa, you've just been initiated. You're all knowing now. Anybody? Mara? Hot seat. Back to Mara.
We have all these other people for hot seating. Let's get Amy Stellar up here.
Amy Stellar, get up. Okay. Very good question, Amy.
What do you do when one of your yoga students asks you this?
Yeah, Amy, if I'm saying I'm getting into Bhakti and you say, all I got to do is surrender to Krishna and all my material pains will go away, how can that be true? Does that mean I'm not going to get hot or cold anymore?
No.
Okay, then what? What does it mean?
You have a body.
Okay.
You are not this body.
Okay.
You are a spirit soul.
Okay, I've got that information. I'm still freezing, though. It's freezing out.
You
Somebody stab me, Amy.
chant.
Yeah.
Chant, be happy.
Okay, I'm gonna give the answer here. Are you doing good, Amy?
I'm great. I'm
You have
having a
good
great
time in Italy.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you.
You've been here before with us, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're part of our Italy tribe.
Yeah.
It's like India light, sort of like
It's India
real
light,
light. It's
like-
real light.
It's very.
It's sort of
light.
like
It's not India.
if India is like Coca-Cola, this is like bubble water.
Yeah.
It's got like no.
Pellegrino.
It's Pellegrino with the little lime.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the idea is that once we surrender to Krishna, Krishna takes away these threefold miseries. And does he take them away? Like, it means they won't happen? No, but we just don't identify with them anymore. You'll hear devotees talk like this too. How are you feeling today? My body's a little in pain. Like it's not even them. My mind is stirred up right now, but I'm okay. Or they'll say something like, how are you today? Today I'm fine. Like recognizing that any moment the body can fall apart, but today I'm fine. We look at when the devotees speak, sometimes they say like this type of pleasure in the material world is just a cessation of pain. That once you get a body, it's just understood that pain comes with the body. So embodied souls that are Krishna conscious, they don't identify as acutely with whatever the body's going through. I can say for myself, it's definitely, it doesn't mean I don't scream and complain and pout every time I get stabbed. I do every time I get stabbed. But it just means there is less identification with it as me. And just literally just to understand that, even philosophically, I understand it philosophically, even though I don't fully get it, it reframes pain. It reframes suffering. It reframes a stabbing. It reframes it all. Even to the point if I was dying, my body's dying. And we watched our friend Gopal Chandra say, what did he say? He said, he quoted Bhakti Tirtha Swami.
Doesn't get any better.
It doesn't get any better than this. All the devotees were singing around him while he was leaving his body. Like his body was rail thin. He was losing his family. He was in a wheelchair. And we were all having a big kirtan around him. And he was just saying, it doesn't get any better than this. And he said, if some of you have been around for a long time, and some of you are new to this, if you're new to this, you should understand this whole process works.
It's all real and it all works.
It's all real and it all works. And to have that type of clarity when you're losing your body, you're losing your home, you're losing your family, you're losing your beauty, you're losing your strength, you're losing your career, you're losing your money, you have no clue who's going to take care of your kids. It's a pretty big realization to say that with a smile on your face. Whether he was a pure devotee or whether he was a pretty realized devotee, to say those things at least frames out the situation so much better than a person who thinks, I am dying. That's how. So you can't call off, right? For example, if I was attacked by, say, an owl, they say that owls attack and they puncture skulls with their talons.
Could it be a bear instead?
Or a bear, an
Okay,
owl, a
thanks.
bear.
I have trouble envisioning the owl attack. That's all. A bear attack, I can envision.
Let's say a falcon attack. Well, it's got to be a bird because
Okay.
falcons can cause damage, but at the same time, falcons can be trained to come back immediately.
Falcons.
So,
sorry.
Mara is generally very pleasant to be around, but once you give her that mic, she So falcons, imagine I'm getting attacked by a falcon and it's clawing and stabbing and pecking at my face. You can't fight back against those things. But if the master immediately calls it back, and they do it with like a whistle, I think, something like this, the falcon immediately releases and comes back. This is Krishna. If you surrender to Krishna, he calls off Durga. Durga's attacking with that trident, torturing, poking, pricking. But once I surrender to Krishna, she relieves that pain. That pain is still there because we're embodied, but the identification of that pain as me gets released. Amy Stellers, no one can hear your question. Yeah, Amy's asking the question, isn't the same of happiness? Well, yeah, it's not. Happiness is different because happiness is similar to joy, but the happiness of the material dopamine hit of like, woohoo, that one, you don't go so high when there's highs. You know, the highs and lows even out, and we become actually joyful. we've already experienced that. If you're on this trip, you know that our joy is, I need to chant some good japa today. Our joy is, I need to like move my body a little bit, exercise, right? I need to eat some healthy food today. This is what the devotee wants to get back. I want to have some taste for hearing and chanting today. How can I do that? How can I sneak away and do that? You know, even we're in Italy, and this is what I'm trying to get all these things checked off my list today. I want to just chant my rounds from beginning to end. Just go there. Don't be disturbed, you know, because everybody went to a CC today. I was like, okay, this is my chance. I've been surrounded by people for the last 2 months. I need a moment just to chant and not really talk to anybody. This is our food. This is what fuels us. No matter what beautiful, exciting place we are in the world, whatever, it's all a big whatever. It's all secondary to our essential food, our superfood of sadhana. That makes sense? And I know that's true for all of you guys. We need to find some time where we can get to that place. That has become so cherished in our life. More than all the things that we used to think like, oh, no, if I do this, it'll be really good. No, those things all become secondary. It's not like, martial arts, I like riding my bicycle, I like riding my motorcycle, I like, it all becomes sort of secondary. Even if you really liked them, they were top of your thing, it becomes secondary to this real food that you can't live without, right? That we want to be doing when we're dying, Because our lifestyle is our happiness. Not a vacation, that's not our happiness. Our lifestyle is our happiness. Truthfully, yesterday we had the Chan Kazi. If no one knows who Chan Kazi is, he was the Muslim governor of Bengal that when the devotees started chanting, he threatened them and he broke their drum and he said there will be no more chanting. So we were joking because on our bus rides in India and on our bus rides in Italy, generally, we have all these kirtans going on the whole time. So we had about an hour and a half drive yesterday to go to Voltaire, which was really wonderful. We went swimming in this beautiful creek. We'll post some pictures on Raghunath Yogi soon. But as soon as we got on, this Italian guy started bugging out at me saying, no chanting, no musical instruments, no. It's against the law. And then the translator just said, yeah, you can't have a drum and a harmonium with you in the bus. They can't be stored, so you can't keep them. And I was just thinking, all right, well, now we're just going to Voltaire. Before, we had like an excuse. We're like, we're going to do something very beautiful in a beautiful place, but without the chanting of the holy name, we were all sort of like let down a little bit. And so even now, we have to think about where we're going tomorrow. I was like, what are we going to do if we can't chant? The chanting in the bus makes the bus ride go by so quick. And it brings up the spirits of everybody. Then we get off the bus. I remember going to Chiquitera last year. And as we get off the bus and walked onto to the train platform, we're all singing together like a choir. It was so, right? It was so beautiful.
It was.
Right? So it was like, what do we do without the chanting of the holy name? There's the there's the story of Hanumanji when he's going to rescue Sita. And he made himself very small so he could sneak into the sitting place of Sita Devi. And he hid. And Sita was so distraught because Ram was out of her life. She was kidnapped by Ravana. And she was so frustrated with existence, she wanted to die. Sometimes we get to that place in life, we feel we are so far from God, I don't want to live anymore. And so she took her beautiful hair and turned it into a noose and was ready to hang herself by her own hair. And immediately, Hanuman saw this. And Hanuman saw immediately, what should I do? He didn't want to reveal himself and frighten her. So he just started chanting the glories of Ram. And in the chanting of glories of Ram, he saw her whole disposition change, her face change, her smile change, her eyes change, her thoughts change. And this is true. It's not just what happens to Sita. It's what happens to us when we hear Ram's name, when we add Ram to our life. Or the other story of, when Ram and Sita and Ram are getting handed gifts. Sita and Ram were handing out gifts to all the people that helped Sita become saved. So many people it took, so many monkeys, so many bears helped in the saving of Sita and Ram. So what they did was they called Hanuman forward. They thought, how can we repay Hanuman for everything that Hanuman has done? And Sita said, well, I have very, very valuable jewels. And she took off this huge diamond with many, many diamonds, and she handed it over to Hanuman, and Hanuman immediately looked at it. And he thought, this is very rare. This is very valuable. And he took one of the small diamonds and crushed it to powder with his strength. And everybody was a little shocked. He just got this nice gift. Then he crushed another small diamond, and he's examining it really closely, did another crushing of the diamond, and then finally took that big diamond, bit into it, crushed it again. And they're thinking, what are you doing? Lady Sita has given you this incredible gift, and you're crushing it like it's a piece of garbage. Why would you do this to Sita Devi? And he was just like in shock. He said, well, you said this was valuable. So I was looking to see if Sita and Ram are inside it. The Sita and Ram are not here. Sita and Ram are not in this diamond. It has no worth without Sita, without it being impregnated with Sita and Ram. How does it have any worth at all? And this is the famous story where someone said, well, if you're looking for Sita and Ram, why don't you just look in your own heart? This is the famous story where he ripped open his own heart, and Sita and Ram were glowing. First of all, it was a very gory story, and then all of a sudden that effulgence was glowing out of Hanuman's heart. And then you could, if you focused, you would actually see there's Sita and Ram in his heart. So the point is, without Sita and Ram, without Lord Ram in our life, without Krishna in our life, we're just on vacation in Italy. We got to figure out how to add more hearing and chanting on this trip if we're not going to be able to do it on the bus ride. And so today we had read some Hanuman Leela by the pool.
That was great.
Right? Because otherwise it's just like material goodness or passion. It's in a vacation. We've all been on vacations. You know, it's like big deal. I swam, big deal. Right? I got some sun on my body, big deal. I ate some spaghetti, big deal. It's like we've done that. When you add Krishna or Ram's name to the equation, life becomes exponentially magical. You cannot even explain it to anybody else. You can't explain someone the experiment. It's like explaining honey. Oh, yeah, it's gooey. Oh, it's golden. It's gooey and golden. It's sticky. It's sticky, gooey, and golden. What does that mean? It's sweet. You still won't get it. This Bhakti is something different. You need to enter the experiment to taste the experiment, to taste the substance of it. Nityananda Chandra says there are 3 suicide attempts in the Ramayana. All were saved by Ram Katha. Okay, we're unmuting this man. Nityananda Chandra.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome to the show. If you don't know Nityananda Chandra, he is like our go-to man for philosophy, for little interesting stories. He's been at Bhakti Yoga for many, many decades and a good friend of ours. We love you, love your family. And he's always got some interesting info. Please share 3 suicide attempts in the Ramayana, and they were saved by Ram Katha. Katha means what, Madhuri Gopi? Spiritual talks. Boom, she got it. Yes. Okay.
So yeah, the next one is, or the first one is, first they go through all the monkeys along with Hanuman, they go through that cave, that beautiful cave, and they end up on the other side where they're at this beach, and they're realizing that they can't find Sita, and that the whole trip is going to be a utter disaster, and they felt just so depressed, and they decided to fast till death. And while fasting, they were just discussing Lord Ram's glories. And then Jatayu's brother, Sampati, was listening. He was thinking, oh, look at this nice monkey meal that's going to appear here. They all look like they're about to die. And so he heard Ram, and then he heard about his brother in the pastime, Jatayu. And that's when he decided to go tell him that, hey, actually, I saw Ravana along with this person, Sita, flying above. And then the other one was,
okay, so the Ram Katha saved them from dying and from being eaten by Sampati.
yes.
Okay, good. The other one.
And the other one was Bharat. said, if he's not back by this time, then I'm going to give up my life. And they were rushing back to, this is after the whole war is fought, and they're flying there on the that special flying spaceship chariot thing.
Yes.
And Hanuman goes ahead earlier, and he starts kind of stalling Bharat from his determination to just give up his life by sharing the pastimes of Lord Ram. And then the Lord appears. Yeah.
All right. So that was 3. Nityananda Chandra, what's your favorite Ramayan version you like to read?
I like Krishna Dharmas. I'm reading the giant one. I'm starting to read the giant one that I don't know if you've seen. There's one that's being published that will be as big as the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, with Sanskrit verses, word for word,
Wow.
commentaries of the acharyas. It's by, I think, one of the Chaupadi brahmacharis. And it says in the beginning that Srila Prabhupada wanted to translate Brahmayan just like he did the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So Sanskrit, word for word, translation and commentary. So it's like a
So there were
massive.
commentaries on the Ramayan. I didn't know that.
And so I have the first 9 volumes of it, and there's a lot more. That's not even half of it.
Oh, wow.
And you can get it on Kindle for very cheap. You can get like all 9 volumes for like $30 or something.
Wow. All right. Thank you. See, these are the type of questions you ask in Nityananda Chandra. You get all this nectar. All right. Thank you, Prabhu. Where are you
Thank
right
you.
now? New York?
I'm at our hostel in New York City. Yeah.
Oh, all right. All right. Haribol. All right. Let's get back to I don't even know how I got off on that tangent. Oh, we were talking about Durga. Okay. So after speaking to, okay. So now, Durga is going to speak to Kamsa. So imagine this. You thought you were just killing a baby. You thought, I got this, and kill a baby. No big deal. And all of a sudden that baby slips, turns into the goddess mother, who may even be like a worshipable deity for Kamsa, because even demons worship Durga. Oh, Kamsa, and then this is what the Devi is going to say to him. Oh, Kamsa, you fool! What will be the use of killing me, the supreme personality of Godhead, Vishnu, who has been your enemy from the very beginning, and who will certainly kill you, has already taken his birth somewhere else. Therefore, do not unnecessarily kill other children. After speaking to Kamsa in this way, the goddess Durga, Yogamaya, appeared in many different places, such as Varanasi, and became celebrated by different names, such as Annapurna, Durga, Kali, and Bhadra. After hearing the words of the goddess Durga, Kamsa was struck with wonder. Thus, he approached his sister Devaki and brother-in-law Vasudeva, released them immediately from their shackles, and very humbly spoke to them as follows. So now he's sort of like completely lost his, he was furious a second ago. Now he feels like completely intimidated, a little scared. He says, "Oh, my sister, alas, my brother-in-law, I am indeed so sinful that exactly like a man-eating Rakshasa who eats his own children, I've killed so many of your sons born of you. Being merciless and cruel, I have forsaken all my relatives and friends. Therefore, like a person who has killed a Brahmin, I do not know which planet I shall go, either after death or while breathing. Alas, not only human beings, but sometimes even providence lies. And I am also so sinful that I believe the omen of providence and killed so many of my sister's children. O great souls, your children have suffered their own misfortune. Therefore, please do not lament for them. All living entities are under the control of the Supreme, and they cannot always live together." Now he's trying to get philosophical with his sister. He's trying to, don't blame me for killing your children. That's, Oh, great souls, your children have suffered their, In this world, we can see that pots, dolls, and other products of the earth appear, break, and then disappear, mixing with the earth. So like imagine like a clay pot, right? It came from the earth. It breaks down, then becomes earth again. Similarly, the bodies of all conditioned living entities are annihilated, but the living entity, like the earth itself, are unchanging and never annihilated. right? So he's trying to preach the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita to Devaki. One who does not understand the constitutional position of the body and the soul becomes too attached to the bodily concept of life.
It's ironic that Kamsa saying this.
Kamsa saying this, right? The demon is preaching like the Bhagavad Gita. Consequently, because of attachment to the body and its byproducts, he feels affected by the union with and separation from his family, society, and nation. As long as this continues, right? These are just like different tribes we belong to, right? We belong to our family. Okay, yeah, this is my family. Oh, this is my city. Yeah, I was born. We drive by our city where we grew up. I grew up here. This is where I was born. Yeah. Then we get too attached by, our nation. I can't believe the Chinese are doing this or the Russians are doing this, right? We're just constantly breaking us down into different types of tribes. In America, it's like Democrats or Republicans, and our tribe sticks together. Not like those stupid tribe over there. They're so unenlightened. Everybody's got this, and to the degree that you have it, you should understand you're in material consciousness. That's just all there is to it. As long as this continues, one continues his material life. My dear sister Devaki, all good fortune unto you. Everyone suffers and enjoys the results of his own work under the control of providence. Therefore, although your sons have unfortunately been killed by me, please do not lament for them. In the bodily conception of life, one remains in darkness without self-realization, thinking, I am being killed, or I have killed my enemies. As long as a foolish person thus considers the self to be the killer or the killed, he continues to be responsible for material obligations, and consequently, he suffers the reactions of happiness and distress. Kamsa begged, my dear sister and brother-in-law, please be merciful to such a poor-hearted person as me. Since both of you are very saintly, please excuse my atrocities. Having said this, Kamsa fell at the feet of Vasudeva and Devaki, his eyes full of tears and regret. Whoosh. What a drama queen, right? First he's ready to kill a child. Now he's overflowing with remorse. Fully believing in the words of goddess Durga, Kamsa exhibited his familial affection for Devaki and Vasudeva by immediately releasing them from their shackles. When Devaki saw her brother actually repentant while explaining ordained events, she was relieved of all anger, right? Isn't that the sign of a saintly person? They forgive. Sometimes we see people are devotees and they're still upset about things. They can't forgive things. If to the degree that I can't forgive, we should understand the train is off the track. The car is off the road, right? Part of what we do to practice bhakti is forgiving, is to understanding a bigger picture, to zooming out, to understand everybody's got some backstory. If I'm not forgiving, if I'm resentful, if I'm holding on to some resentment, there's work I have to do. There's some responsibility I have in this. Oh, great personality, Kamsa. This is a sister saying this. Only by the influence of ignorance does one accept the material body and bodily ego. What you have said about this philosophy is correct. Persons in the bodily concept of life, lacking self-realization, differentiate in terms of this is mine and this belongs to another. Isn't that interesting? That's just like a concept we have, that this is my home. And we say things like, well, where did you get your home from? I bought it from this guy. And where did he get it from? I bought it from this guy. Where did he get it from? I bought it from this guy. In America, it's really, you don't even have to trace it back very far, right? I just met the guy who lived down the road from me who said his father owned half the mountain that we lived on. And then I said, did you ever meet the guy the road was named after? He goes, I met his grandson. I said, oh, so cool. Now, those people the early landholders in America, they were given huge tracts of land. All they had to do is they were sent there to govern huge parts of upstate New York. And all they had to do is like show up there now and then and go to their mansion. And they were the owners of all that land. And then they had people working for them and crop sharing and things like that. But the question is, where did they get it from? Did they buy it? No, they just took it. And this is now, was your land. Now it's is to be my land. And we do this whole thing too. Like we have taken, I'm staying on stolen land. We have this type of sort of like a sentiment in a sweet way. We care like, hey, this was stolen land. From who? Well, the Native Americans who lived here. Where did they get it from? It's not like they were just living there in peace. We tend to think that's what people have been fighting wars for land forever. One tribe took it from another nation, took it from another tribe, took it from another nation. And everybody in this world has blood on their hands. So yeah, you're right. You've taken, land that was previously owned by this nation. Don't get proud that you're saying that either. Because a lot of people are like, yes, what do they say? People say like, I'm admitting I'm on the land of whomever. Okay, well, shut up or give it back. That's what I feel like saying. Just give it back to them then and get out of here. But you're just going to go to somewhere else where that land was taken by whoever's living there now. And this is what we do in this honor amongst thieves. I'll honor that this is your house if you honor that this is my house, and we play the game of buying and selling property. But everybody, either now or then and forever, have had some type of blood on their hands. We've done it all over. I think we just took Hawaii. I don't know how Hawaii happened. Do you know? You went to private school.
Forget.
You forget?
I forget.
Hawaii was just, I think, just like, we're taking you. Something like that. But the fact was, they were also tribes just fighting over, kings of Hawaii were fighting viciously. I'm not trying to justify anything. I'm saying we're all in this ugly mess together. But the idea is that it's not even ours anyway. We fight in wars for what's not even ours. Because we didn't create anything. We don't create, we just manipulate what's in front of us.
We annexed Hawaii in 1898 at the urging of President William McKinley.
That sounds real nice. We annexed it by the urging. There's got to be an uglier side
Through
of
a
that.
combination of political maneuvering,
Okay.
economic influence,
We're not going to give you anything else.
and ultimately annexation following a coup d'etat. In 1893, a group of American and European businessmen, with the support of the U.S. minister to Hawaii, overthrew the Hawaiian monarchy and established a provisional government led by Sanford Dole. Probably the pineapple plantation.
It was the pineapple dole plantation guy.
This led to a push for annexation by the U.S. While a treaty of annexation was initially unsuccessful, the Spanish-American War in 1898 and the strategic importance of Hawaii during the war provided the impetus for Congress to annex the islands via a joint resolution. They became a U.S. territory in 1900 and were later admitted as a 50th state in 1959.
So this is and of course, your heart can go out for anybody hurt in that. But it's only a matter of time before U.S. gets weak. We were talking in class this morning. We were talking about chickens and how the alpha chicken takes over. The pecking order. And I was with somebody the other day at the farm. And, it was Jai Giridhari. And he says he was on a farm with like 4 roosters. And there was one full-on crazy psychopath alpha rooster. And it attacked him. And he just instinctually batted the rooster away until it was sort of like dazed and confused. And all the other roosters took advantage of that rooster.
Oh.
Like they went off on that rooster to say, okay,
we got our chance.
now we got our chance. Here's our chance. And this whole world is in this balance of power. Because right now, okay, Hawaii was the weak one. We capitalized on that. We'll be the weak one. And then someone capitalized on us. And things just get swished around. I wish you could see a graph, how these empires rise and fall. And over time, that's just what happens in the world. And we're on the top of the game right now. And that wheel rolls around and that you're at the bottom. You're not the most dominating power in history anymore. You're at the bottom. You could be slaves, or you could be in some economic disaster or some headless government where your currency is worth nothing and you're trying your best to feed your children. So these cycles happen again and again. How the hell do we talk about this?
It is sort of a depressing note to end on, but it is 5:03.
It is 5. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Anyway, it's all collapsing, people. Everything's breaking apart. The Rome fell, and so will our beautiful nation. Okay, my point is, I can't remember. We were talking about tribes and nations and.
Kamsa, Devaki.
Okay, I didn't want to end on such a downer, but
Our affection for places.
let's just read that last statement again.
Okay.
Where are we?
20.
You read it. You read it, please. This is mine, and that belongs to another.
Okay. Persons in the bodily concept of life lacking self-realization differentiate in terms of this is mine and this belongs to another.
Hmm.
That's it.
I wonder how we're supposed to live in this world.
Still seems like a.
Womp womp.
Is this how we're gonna end it?
I don't know. Okay, Mara, any takeaways today?
Yeah. We should have outsourced the takeaways to live, but I didn't think of it.
You guys got any takeaways? Like,
Didn't take notes.
we don't even remember what you said. Oh,
Three prongs,
the
yeah.
3 prongs. Don't get poked by the 3 prongs. Surrender to Krishna. Boom. Good one.
Durga is going to cause us pain once we have a body.
Yeah, Durga's coming to town once you have a body. Go on.
All of our attachments will be broken.
Yeah, we said this morning, like these pine trees and the storms. Sometimes it rains and then it does a quick freeze and the wind comes and snaps all the trees and you hear that. But the birches bend.
Be a
They
birch.
freeze. Be a birch, not a pine. You got to bend. You bend to Krishna. You bend to Krishna. You bow to Krishna. And otherwise, you lose everything anyway. But you lose it with it's like a sweet surrender with Krishna.
Get a taste for your sadhana superfood.
Get a taste for your sadhana superfood.
I thought you'd like that.
Thank you.
Our lifestyle is our happiness.
I like that. Our lifestyle is our happiness.
If I can't forgive, the train is off the track.
If I can't forgive, my train is off the track. Or my spiritual train, the soul train, perhaps, is off the track.
Without Sita and Ram, it's all worthless.
Oh, Krishna. Without Sita and Ram, it's like a big deal. You're in Italy. Big deal. Gelato. Vegan gelato. Big deal.
You can't explain honey till you taste it.
I like that.
To the degree we're attached to our places and people, we're in a materialistic paradigm.
It's gooey. It's sticky. It's golden.
Did you just make that up on the spot?
No, I said that earlier in the show.
But now you said it like it was a little jingle.
Well, yes. Okay. What was that? But I didn't listen to your last takeaway.
To the degree we're attached to our places and people, we're in a materialistic paradigm.
To the degree I'm attached to places and people.
We all
Yeah.
have blood on our hands.
We've all got blood on our hands, peeps.
And reframe getting stabbed.
Yeah, reframe it. It's not my body anyway. Stab it if you want. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Last minute show. I'm glad we did it, though. You know what? I missed checking in with the Bhagavatam. It's our sadhana superfood. Glad you guys were here.